It's lovely to have you join us here. And we always get excited when we get to do these webinars. We try and do them once a month for our Recruit My Mom community. And this morning, I am so happy to have Pretty Ndlovu join us on our Mompreneur webinar. For those of you who don't know, we do try and do this once a month. So do have a look at our newsletters and our social media feeds as to the different topics that we have, and then we'll put them on YouTube afterwards. So if you're going to ask, will there be a recording? Yes, there's going to be a recording and it'll be available. So yes, lovely to see you all this morning. I am Philippa Geard. I'm the founder, CEO of Recruit My Mom, and more recently, our second sister company called Recruiter Graduate. And it is my pleasure to have you all here this morning. I'm going to, just before I hand over and invite, welcome Pretty, I'd like to read you her biography, because I always think that it's really important that we know who we have in our company this morning. So Pretty is a mom of two. So the two of us are mompreneurs, and so that's why we felt that it was a good topic to speak about this morning. She also has two businesses, Virtuoso digital agency and Slow Textiles. Pretty grew an international online business over 2.5 years, working with clients around the globe and in the United States, the UK, Italy, and Canada. This trailblazer mompreneur runs a creative digital agency that helps impact-driven brands develop and grow a strong online presence through the art of storytelling in brand design, web and app design, and digital marketing, with a mission to help the unemployed, skilled youth leverage the digital age to start and grow online businesses, as well as to help unskilled youth develop new skills, as well as increase the number of successful women-led businesses. She created a business program launched in October called How to Start and Grow an Impact-Driven Brand Online, using the skills that she has and using the skills that they have. So Pretty, I think you are well placed to be speaking to us this morning on how to become a mompreneur. So welcome.
Amazing. Thank you so much for a warm welcome. You've got such an incredible room of people. I see in the chat so many people saying good morning. Very exciting. I really wish that we were in a room together, that we could see each other. This camera thing is killing me. But thank you for the warm welcome. And it's actually quite a mouthful that you are reading. And I'm just like, wow, is that the work that I've done? It's quite a lot over 2 years. But yes, thank you so much for the warm welcome, and I'm really excited to be chatting to you this morning, and I'm really excited to connect with everyone in the chat.
You're very welcome. It's always good to look back on our journeys and see where we've come from and what we've achieved. We don't do that often enough, Pretty. So well done to you. So Pretty, we're going to kick off this morning. So our topic is how to become a mompreneur. So let's start with, what exactly is a mompreneur?
Well, superwoman. A woman. But simply put, a mompreneur is a businesswoman who is also a mom, and a person that is busy running around running a business as well as running around after kids. That's a mompreneur.
And what are some of the things that one should consider before embarking on becoming a mompreneur? Because that certainly sounded like a superwoman description that you just gave us.
Yeah, so the first thing is that you need to look into what it is that you love, what it is that you enjoy doing, as well as what you are inherently good at. So what I have found in starting a business, and if you start a business just because it pays well or you see potential to make huge profits, but you're not so passionate about what you do, you're gonna either burn out or end up making a lot of money, but then staying unfulfilled, like questioning why does it still not feel right? So first of all, tapping into what you're good at, that's what it takes. And then tapping into what you're passionate about, and then trying to build that around perhaps the need in the society. So yeah, and I might be going way off the question, but basically it takes quite a few things. It takes skill, and it takes things that you already have as a mom. Like, moms have the ability to multitask, moms are intuitive, moms are able to they're probably even organized. Like, I'm not organized, but moms are these people that have lists and are always there to support their kids and are always there to support their households. So starting a business takes all of that. It takes all these things that we've been practicing as moms and as household leaders. You're able to take that and apply that into starting a business.
Yeah, that's so true. And, you know, when I engage with other women business owners, but also mompreneurs, I find that there is so much inspiration in their stories. And often our own personal stories lead us in a direction that enables us to start a business. And I like what you said, you know, it's into, you know, what are you good at? Looking at your strengths, your skills, your passions, but also some of the social needs around us. So just kind of delving in a little bit into your story before we carry on with some questions that I have for you. Priti, why don't you tell us your story of what your passions were that got you started on what you're doing now? And we'll just take a couple of minutes to do that, and then I'll carry on with some mompreneur questions. But it's always inspirational to hear what was your story, your strength that got you to where you are with your business.
Great, thank you for that question. Well, it didn't always, I hadn't always figured it out, like what I'm good at, what I enjoy doing, what I really love. The need to start a business really arose from the fact that I was doing this great job. I was a project manager for about 10 years for an IT company. And at the end of 2018, I remember thinking to myself, but how long am I going to carry on like this for? Where I sat in my car driving to work, sitting stuck in traffic, dropping off my child extremely early, and then picking her up as the last child at school. And I did everything I could to be present at work, to be present with my daughter. And even then, because I remember I moved so many times to be as close as possible to the company that I was working for. And I remember thinking, I live 2 kilometers away from the office, but I still managed to drop off my child extremely early. She's the first one. And I pick her up late. She is the last one at school. And I hardly ever get time with her. So I was just like, this is not working. So that was the one factor. And then the other factor was that it felt like I dedicated all my life to helping build someone else's dream that wasn't my own, even though I didn't know exactly what my dream was at the time. It just didn't feel right. And at the end of 2018, I thought, wow, there's something, I have to do something. And fortunately for me, I had the backing. So I had a partner at the time who was very supportive. Like most people don't have a support, like to take the leap into starting something new, especially from a secure job, the full-time job that was paying well, and then start going off to go, okay, let me think about what it is that I really want to do. So not a lot of people have that kind of support. And fortunately, I had that. I left my full-time work in 2019, February, and we moved from Johannesburg to Durban. It was very refreshing to be at the sea and waking up, not rushing to work, not getting stuck in traffic, and finally getting time with my kids. That was amazing. And as I was doing that, I was going for interviews I needed a job. We needed a second income. So I went for interviews and it didn't quite work out. And this is where we needed to start making additional income. And we were really, really pushed against the wall financially. So I had to think about what it is that I was experienced in, what it is that I was really good at, and what it is that I loved doing. And I discovered this online business world where people started groups online and people were giving each other tips on how to start and grow a business, and people were supporting each other. And these were groups of women online. So if you go on Facebook right now and search for women in business, or on LinkedIn, women in business, those are the communities that helped, that motivated me to actually look at what it is that I have, the resources that I have, that I can use to start my business. And I started paying attention to that. And I thought, okay, so I was a project manager for 10 years. I can take this and actually freelance or offer my services, not even just locally, but also internationally, because discovering the online business world opened me up to all these groups internationally. And this is when I started looking at things like getting myself online as a service provider, as a project manager. At the time, I was like, so there's this concept of being a virtual assistant, and that is what I was exploring. And I thought I can outsource my project management services as a virtual assistant and assist businesses with their projects, with their back-end systems, with their just projects, running projects from beginning to end. And I would provide them a service and just do it virtually from home, work from home. And it didn't fly quite well because this was pre-COVID. And at the time, pre-pandemic, people weren't very open to working virtually. And when I tried I started off going to local businesses around me going, hey, can I help you with your projects while I'm at home? And they're like, no, I don't know if I can trust you and trust that you're actually doing work while I'm here and you're there. Hell no. So finding businesses around me that I could service and offer them my skills as a project manager wasn't the easiest thing to do. Until I found my very first client online, as I was in one of these Facebook groups, and my client was looking for a web designer, so specifically looking for a female web designer. Let me tell you this, and I hope, well, even if she does hear it, I created an amazing website for her anyway, and I'm very good at it now. But at the time, I had no clue how to do what she was doing. But I thought, wow, someone says she's offering $500 for a web design. And I have attempted creating websites for myself before. So I had the basics and I had like the technical software skills. And I also sort of came from an IT background. So I was really comfortable with building websites. And I said, yes, I'll do it. And that's where my creative agency really started. I started off remembering how to build a website and watching tutorials. And I got paid by my very first client. She was so happy that she recommended other people that were in the industry, her friends, to me. And that's how my business grew, really.
Great.
And this was because I got into these groups, like networking with different people.
That's such a great story. Pretty, I love it. I'm just going to ask Esther, if you could just check for me. I think there might be some people that aren't on mute, and if you wouldn't mind just checking yourselves if you're not on mute. We're just getting a bit of background noise, but sorry, Pretty, to have interrupted you. But you know what I love about your story is that you didn't say no. You know that most women, when they get a brief or they get asked to do something that they feel that they might not be able to do it, will say no. But you didn't. You said yes, and now look at you. You've got this incredible digital agency. I mean, that's
Correct.
just incredible. That really is. So just in hearing your story, Pretty, and knowing that the people that are joining us here on this webinar this morning are interested in mompreneurship, you know, what are some of the challenges of being a mompreneur? You know, how, you know, in terms of balancing being a mom and a company. So first of all, you needed to go out and you needed to recognize your skill, which was your project management skill. You then needed to go and find a client base, and you were still managing your daughter at the time. I mean, you had one child or son. It's
well, at the time, the two.
Oh, there were two. Yeah, there were two. So you're managing that. So what are some of the challenges that mompreneurs might find as they're starting out on this journey?
Well, fortunately, my partner was there, and I could go, could you please just stay with the kids while I run out quickly and approach businesses? So the challenges, number one, that I really have gone through myself are the support. So you need a really strong support system. So the lack of support, feeling alone, is a huge challenge. And number two, it's also things like, so when you are in the business, managing your time, trying to accommodate your kids around your schedule, managing your time with your family and your friends. And so you spend a lot of time in your business, and the challenges of managing balance, maintaining balance, is the first, well, support is number one, balance is number two. And let me tell you something about balance, and I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. It's that I myself am still chasing after balance, and I'm yet to find balance. So having support and having someone to that you can go, hey, could you help me with this quickly? I need to go run errands. And it's really important, well, personally, as well as when you are in the business as well. So you would need people that would help you in terms of opportunities, in terms of sort of people that would think of you on like that on the spot if someone was asking for a service provider like you. And also mental health. So mothers are caregivers naturally. Like, you just always want to put other people first before yourself, and you forget to put yourself first. You forget to take care of yourself. So your mental health is the first thing that well, I should stop saying first, second, third, because now I forgot where I'm at. But mental health is another point that I'd like to bring up. Is that the world as it is right now, we are feeling like we are very separated. You can't reach out to anyone for help, and you can't. There aren't people who really quite understand you as a mother within the family, and you don't have a lot of friends that are mothers as well. So I would say find people that are in the same situation as you're in. And yeah, so three things for me: mental health, support, and I forgot what the third one was. the very first one that I said. But I really hope that I'm making sense, and I hope that mothers out there do resonate. Yes, Aloma, thank you. balance. So maintaining balance. Thank you, Yolanda.
Great. Yeah, thank you. You know, Pretty, and as you're talking, I'm so relating with you, you know, in our personal journeys. And I would resonate with that, is that being a mompreneur is that it is, you're quite unique in choosing that route if you're going to start your own business and raise your children while doing both. And I think those are really good points. But we also don't want to put anybody off being a mompreneur. So what are the benefits of being a mompreneur?
Wow. So remember, the reason I left my job to begin with, and thank you for this question, because again, what the whole aim of talking about entrepreneurship is that we want to solve the problem of people not feeling like they've got no option. So entrepreneurship is the complete alternative for looking for a job. And if you were looking for a job in a certain industry, you can still start a business within that industry. So without turning people off of entrepreneurship, there are a lot of benefits. And one of the reasons why I started my own business was because I wanted to spend more time with my kids. So flexibility, number one, and number two, being able to make your own choices. So like being your own boss means that you are in charge, and it means that you're in charge of the decisions you make in when it comes to your dreams, right? The decisions you make in terms of how much income you can bring in. So the income isn't limited to that little paycheck that you were getting during your management job. So you can go from, hey, I just want 5 grand to, woo, I've made 500,000 rand. So the income potential is another benefit. You determine how much money you want to make. Your income goals, you can reach those. And we can get deeper into how you can get there. And this is when the fun begins, actually. So there are a lot of benefits. And you also you make friends. You build lifetime relationships. You build a network of people that actually finally think the way that you do, that have faced similar challenges, that can share solutions to problems that you might be facing, and many, many more. So I think Philip should have extended talks about, well, number one, what it takes to run a business as a mom, and number two, the benefits that are out there, the freedom that is out there in starting a business.
I love what you say. You know, I mean, I love that it's solving a problem in society. Many women-owned businesses and mompreneur businesses are solving social problems. The flexibility that it brings in terms of being able to integrate you know, home and work. You know, I'm not a big proponent of work-life balance. If any of you have read my newsletters that go out, I think last week's one was around, you know, that I'm not a big proponent of work-life balance. I'm a proponent of work-life integration. So, you know, being a mompreneur really does allow you that. Then you said making your own choices, and then the income benefits and the relationship benefits. And those are really key benefits to being a mompreneur. And, you know, Pretty, I mean, I'm sure people are wondering, you know, why would a recruitment agency like Recruit My Mom be hosting a webinar on mompreneurship, right? But we also recognize the limitations in South Africa of the number of jobs that are available out there. And so if we can encourage moms to start their own businesses and to grow businesses, you know, that's just great. And so that's why, you know, it's so great to have you here, and we want to support people in doing this. Do you think that somebody needs to have a business or an entrepreneurial background to start their own business?
No. So if you wake up and go, gosh, I need to start my own business, So that's already something within you trying to pull you towards something. It already means that you have the capability to start. So for the mere fact that you thought, I need to do this, whether or not you've got the background or the experience, it doesn't matter. You've got the potential to do it. And yeah, so no, you don't need the background, you don't need the experience. Start with what you have, which is the idea.
I love that. Start with what you have, which is the idea. So moving on to that, Pretty, how do you know if you've got a good business idea? I mean, you help mentor people right now in that have got ideas and businesses. So if somebody's sitting listening to us today, you know, how do you evaluate whether you've got a good business idea or not?
So there's this new concept that I've recently, thank you for this question, because it actually just popped up when you were talking. So there's a concept of design thinking, which entails, first of all, looking at what the need is. So number one, the need would be, oh, I need to start my own business. And number two, it would also be, what is the need around me, within the industry, within society, within just around, what is the need? And then number two, it would be your idea. So now building the actual idea in whatever it is that you want to do. So you can open an online store, drop shipping, you can yeah, so there are many things. Again, we need to have a separate show about, or a separate webinar about the different types of business opportunities that are out there. So in the design thinking process, you think, what is the need that is there? What idea can I bring to life? And there's also prototyping and testing the idea. And there's also listening in. So listening to the audience. And I'm not putting the design thinking process steps in order, but I'm just thinking that the design thinking process is actually the fantastic, and I'll share this with everyone on my Instagram or my social media as well, the design thinking process. I think it's an amazing way to value or evaluate whether your business idea is worth pursuing. So that process helps you actually test, listen out, first of all, what the need is, and listen to your audience. So like, not just your audience, but the people that you would want to make your customers. So listen to what they're saying they struggle with. And like right now, moms at the moment struggle with time management. And I struggle with the fact that I can't keep my kids away from my meetings. When I am in meetings and webinars, they're always popping in. So I would need someone that can keep them entertained while I'm in meetings. And mind you, we can't do this physically anymore. It has to be done virtually. So we need someone that can keep our kids busy while we're talking. And there's so many other things. So mom also needs to relax. Products that would help you relax. And again, I'm going away from the question. We should definitely have a separate show for the different types of business opportunities that are out there. Listening to the needs of your potential consumers can help you figure out whether or not the idea that you currently have is a great one or not. And you can prototype, like create a prototype, which is like a test type of a service or a test type of a product that you can put out there and go, hey, moms, since you're saying you are struggling with this, please test this out for me. Would it help you in any way? And we can give you feedback. So listening to that feedback is where your gold is. So listening to the feedback through research focus groups, through even moms in your family that can sort of test your idea, your product, or your service, and just give you feedback whether or not it's a great product or not.
That's such a great idea. That really is a great idea. You know, I was just, again, you know, when I started Recruit My Mom I didn't know how it was going to make money. And in fact, for 2 years, it didn't. And it wasn't that the idea was bad. It was that I wasn't getting the revenue model right. And so sometimes you've actually got to put a price to something and test it, don't you? Which is part of the prototyping is you've got to look at that pricing to be able to see whether there is actually a market for it. Because some people will say it's a really good idea, but then will they actually put money behind it to purchase it? And so it doesn't mean the idea is bad. It might mean that you need to just test it a couple of different times and different ways. So I love that. I love that prototyping. And definitely for those of you on the webinar, you know, Pretty will put this design thinking model on her Instagram and it'll be available. So Pretty, that kind of leads me into the next question, which is, you hear all these buzzwords when you're running a business, or if you look online, it can be quite daunting, you know, business plan, networking, market research. If you had to lay out 5 key steps to start the business, you know, what would your first 5 steps be in starting a business?
So aside from, thank you again for that awesome question, Philippa. Aside from market research, you've got to do self-research. Well, self-research is actually the first one. Look into, again, and this is what we've been repeating throughout, what you're good at, what you love, and what the need in your community is, and what the need in your specific industry is. So the self-research, like the industry research is market research, right? And the need in the community is also market research. But the self-research really has to be honing into your skills and honing into what you've got experience in, what comes naturally to you. Because the other thing, what you want to do is that you want the whole experience to be as just easy, although business itself is quite a challenging thing. Like there's so many things to figure out. So you want to ease up most of the tension and like starting something that doesn't work by just starting with what you're good at, and that is number one. And you find out by like looking at the things that pull you to, like, that just naturally pull you towards them, like dancing, speaking, talking to people and connecting, networking with different types of people. So you get to see what it is that you really enjoy doing. And that is the self-research. Then the market research, absolutely, you have to, before you create anything, even if you have a fantastic idea, you have to look at whether this idea would work. Like, and this is, we are, falling again off from the previous question that we were talking, the answer to the previous question. Looking at whether this product would work, you would have to research, you'd have to look at whether people could use your product, and you have to tap into these different networks. And the networks, business networks, are out there everywhere. You can start with local communities, local business communities. I'm part of 2 business communities that are global and not just local. They love the idea of the fact that we are building local communities, local business communities, but they're global. And so you can do your market research there. So step into local communities, business opportunity, business communities, as well as global business communities, and do your market research. Like, look at what it is that people would actually use as a product or service. And the other thing is, as you do the networking and as you do the market research, you also meet people that are on the same path as you are. So then the whole journey doesn't feel so lonely anymore. It feels quite exciting and it feels inspiring and exhilarating. And through these organizations, and I will send the two links. This is what I was supposed to have sent to Recruit My Mom's moderators, the lovely ladies Esther and Kerry. But organizations such as the Global Entrepreneurship Network, I just wanted to type that in here for you ladies, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, as well as the Founder Institute. So, and those are just the two. There are also organizations that are solely built around women and helping women from just the ideation stage, from I think I want to start a business, to fully funded and ready to rock the business world. And these are organizations that give support and give the ecosystem for you to do market research and network in. And when it comes to a business plan, there are business plans everywhere. Thank you so much. There it is. The Global Entrepreneurship Network. There are business plans everywhere on the internet. The key thing is to search for industry-specific research. So look at the type of business that you want to start and the industry that it's in, and look at business plan for this industry. And there are different types out there even now. So now, I mean, back then when I started a business, the business plan used to be something this big, like a 50-page document that I could never make sense out of. But now there are bite-sized like business plans that are compressed, that are nicely summarized, and they even ask you questions that help you sort of put in what your thoughts are about your business. So what would be, tell us a bit about what your business idea is, so such questions. And at the end of that, you would sort of have a comprehensive business plan that you can take to someone, and that person would see what you do, how you're doing it, how much you need, if you need funding, and how much you plan on getting back, and how you plan on making the money back. So there's so many tools out there. And again, I believe I need to start creating this type of content for everyone, to put it on my Instagram so everybody can start getting resources to really start with building a business. And these are some of the things that we will cover as well when we do the business program in October on how to start an online business, an impact-driven online business with the skills you have. I hope that answers your question, Philippa.
Yeah, absolutely. So self-research, market research, business networking, and building relationships, and don't do it alone. Always find people to do it along with you, and then just finding the resources online. I think that's really helpful, Pretty. So Pretty, while people are starting to add questions, we'll go through some of the questions just now as people start to put them into the chat before we move to the question and answers. So we've spoken about a lot of the resources that are available online, and you're going to make them available on your Instagram, but you've mentioned what's happening in October. Could you tell our listeners that have joined us today on the webinar, what it is that's available to them that you could offer, or that's available in South Africa that people can tap into immediately? But tell us what's happening in October.
Absolutely. So I'm launching a business program called How to Start and Grow an Impact-Driven Business Using the Skills You Have. And how to start and grow an impact-driven business online using the skills you have. So basically, what I want to show everybody is the tools, resources, and ways of honing in on what you have. So starting with the resources that you currently have, like right now we're connecting through Zoom, right? That's an online tool. And we also connected on Instagram. That's an online tool. So there are so many resources and tools that are out there that we can use, as well as the tools and resources that we have to start and grow an impact-driven business. So really looking, and I was throughout the webinar, we've been talking about addressing the need within your community, within your industry. We're going to talk about exactly how you can do that. So it's a 3-month long program, a 12-week program, and you do not have to have business skills or experience or be familiar with the world of business at all. We're going to cover every single thing, and this will be me prepping you for the global world that is so full of opportunities. There's so much information out there that it gets overwhelming when you don't have direction, when you haven't quite figured out what type of business it is that you want to explore. So my business program will serve as a foundation, like we're introducing you into the idea of starting and growing a business, the entrepreneurship, the mompreneurship, and then we're going to share with you all the global business opportunities that are out there, such as funding and mentorship and access to clients, global clients, and everything, the works. So keep your eye out for the launch and pre-registration on my Instagram. And
wow. Oh, Pretty, that sounds just so exciting. Can I join you?
Absolutely, yes. Please.
So I'm going to ask Esther to start sharing some of your handles, just because I'm sure people will want to connect with you and just be able to follow you to be able to know when this is going to start. But I think it sounds like an incredible program. And I wish that when I'd started Recruit My Mom, that I was part of something like that. I probably would have made a lot less mistakes than I made having started my business. So Esther will put all of those into the handle. And Pretty, I'm going to just open the chat now, and we're going to have a look and see what questions have come in for you. And let's have a look and see what we have, if we've got any questions. Esther, you can help me here. You're welcome to go off mute and assist if there are any. I think I've seen any.
One question from Celeste asks, hi Pretty, how do you recover from any setbacks in your journey?
So the one mistake, and thank you so much for that question. The one mistake that I know I have always made is thinking that I have to have everything figured out. So whenever I had what felt like a setback, I was just like, oh, why? It felt awful, and I was so hard on myself. So how you recover from setbacks is really look at setbacks as lessons, teachers. They are your roadmaps. So look at, okay, what did you do that got you here, and how can you do it differently next time? And don't be hard on yourself. It happens. So the best way to recover is going, whoa, that was a great lesson. How do we do that differently next time? I hope I answered your question.
I think that's a great answer. I think that is such a great way to pick yourself up, because of course there are going to be mistakes. Of course you're going to learn along the way. That's the best way to move forward. So I think that's a great answer. Esther, have you got any more questions there for Pretty?
Yes, I do. I've got a question from Lebo. She says that, Pretty, you spoke about flexibility. I can imagine that starting a business is not easy. So approximately how many hours do you spend working in a day?
Thank you for that question, Lebo. Well, to be honest, this is my I've been in business now for 2.5 years, and I've got a calendar with activities and tasks nicely scheduled in there. But because I'm a mom, my schedule just always gets thrown out of the window. You certainly have to have the ability to say no to something. So prioritize, look at what is going to help me reach my goal right now. If things are piling up and most of them are not going to help you reach your goal, they need to get off. If people keep calling you, asking, hey, can you please do this? Can you please be here? Can you please come here? If it's something that is not helping you reach your goal, don't do it, especially in the first few years. So in the first few years, in the second year, the flexibility that I really, 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 really want is not here yet. I have sort of tapped into it, but it's not quite where I want it to be. So saying no to things that won't help me has sort of eased my schedule a bit. And I hope that answers your question, Ndlovu.
Thank you, Pretty. This is Esther speaking. I'm not going to switch on my camera. I feel much more comfortable being in the background. Then I've got another nice question here from Lenovo, sorry. She asks, how do you monetize your online business? And do your clients pay immediately or after you have serviced them? And have you had any challenging clients that don't pay?
This is an awesome question because it pretty much covers every single journey that you get to have, every single journey in relationship that you get to have with your money. So I'll start with, have I ever had clients that have never paid? The answer is yes. And as soon as that happened, I knew exactly the type of client that I didn't want to work with. And my pricing policy is built around that lesson. That was a huge lesson. My relationship with money is also so that sort of brought my attention to my relationship with money. And having clients, how do I monetize my online presence? My online, it's through so many, there's so many exciting ways of doing this. I found my very first client on Facebook, and I found most of my clients on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you can totally monetize your social media presence as a personal brand, as a service provider, as a small business. It really is about community. So build a community of people that can get to know you and like you and trust you enough to buy whatever it is that you have to offer.
Okay, thank you, Pretty. Then we've got another good question here from Nasiba. She says that if you have a great product, how do you tap into the global market?
Thank you. That's a great question. In the global market, the two organizations that Esther has just posted for us in the chat, the Global Entrepreneurship Network, as well as the Founder Institute, they host all these amazing events centered around people that have products and have product ideas that want to pitch the business idea and also give an experience of the product. And they've got a global audience listening in, ready to give advice. So if you click on FI.co and look at events, look at the upcoming events. There are networking sessions that are going to be hosted in the upcoming months. And I'll share this on my timeline as well, my Instagram timeline. There are events where you can come in and pitch your business idea and get feedback from the global community.
Thank you, thank you, Pretty. Sorry, Celeste asks, and Philippa, if you don't mind, also after Pretty's answer, just saying the kind of support that you get from Recruit My Mom. So Celeste asked that when do you get an accountant on board, or how do you manage your own finances?
Thank you for that question, because I do need an accountant on board. So looking at your finances, really, really important. I've been doing this for myself because I discovered that I have a really weird relationship with money. So I kept insisting on doing it myself, even though I wasn't quite enjoying the finance part. Well, I do enjoy looking at how much money I've made, going, ooh, I like this, but staying compliant with the taxes and really looking at your budgets, your cash flow, and making sure that you've got enough money to cover you for the coming months, and enough money to pay your costs and enough money to pay your staff, wasn't quite what I enjoyed looking. So I avoided doing that until I had to submit my income tax return. Then it was a disaster. So I recommend that you do it from the time you get your first payment. So you can do it on a spreadsheet, look at the money that you brought in, keep track of the money that you spend, also just keep track of everything on a spreadsheet. And it can be very simple: money in, money out, money, and record client name, date, how much they paid and what they were paying for. And when you spend money, record the other way around, and then just for expenditure, the same way that you were recording the income, record the expenditure. And again, this is something that we're going to look very, very deep into when we do the program in October.
Thanks, Pretty. Yeah, I think keeping on the right side of SARS and the tax man is very, very important, Pretty. I agree. So we almost at the end of our session, but I just wanted to talk about the virtual assistants that Pretty spoke about. So one of the supports that Recruit My Mom has, and this is where we're really passionate, as you know, we're very passionate about women and women earning an income, is that we have a growing group of virtual assistants that we place with our clients. And quite a few of those are accountants and bookkeepers. If anybody, because you don't always need a full-time accountant or a full-time bookkeeper, you just may need one for a couple of hours a month to help you. You may even need some digital marketing skills. You can go to Pretty, or you can, you just look for somebody who can give you a couple of hours a day to support you in your business as it's growing. And that's one of the key benefits that we offer as Recruit My Mom, is we support small businesses through an array of virtual assistants, so which is great. And then I just want to give a quick shout out to FNB small business accounts. That's their small business accounts have a free accounting package that come with the account. So it actually does all your accounting for you and pulls it into income statements and balance sheets. It's part of your bank account. It is so easy to use. I know my accountant loves it because it's just so simple and easy. And as a starting out small business, it really is something to look at if you haven't even decided on a bank account at the moment. And I'm not paid by FNB, by the way. I just think it's a great package that they offer. But we're coming to the end of our time. I wanted to say a really, really special thank you to Pretty. It's been such a pleasure hosting you today, sharing your knowledge. I love your passion and your enthusiasm for all things entrepreneurial. And we know that in South Africa, we need a lot more women-owned businesses that are making a positive social impact. We know that we need to be creating employment through our different businesses. And Pretty, I really wish you well. I hope that we are able to host you again in another webinar in the future. But I wish you well. And for all our webinar participants today, I really want to wish you well in building your businesses. And if you've got a skill and you want to be a virtual assistant, reach out to us at Recruit My Mom. We really are building our base of virtual assistants and trying to put as many of you in contact working for us to our clients as well. And I want to wish you well, Pretty, and just any parting words from you. But just thank you very much from Recruit My Mom and our entire Recruit My Mom community.
Lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me here, Philippa. You have an incredible group of ladies in the audience, and I really cannot wait to share everything in detail. I think today was just the tip of the iceberg of how much information I've got that I really just want to help people dive into that so they can just start creating an income for themselves, whether it's an extra income or if it's an income holding your household together. I'd like to help you do that. So thank you very much for having me today. And I really look forward to connecting with everyone.